the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Tonight, newly released body cam video shows the moments Timothy Johnson is shot and killed by Fairfax County Police. The unarmed man chased into the woods accused of shoplifting from Tyson's Mall. We'll show you the footage leading up to his death and what we're learning tonight about the officers involved.
Plus, DC's mayor looks to slash funding from buses to violence interrupters to a program that keeps tenants from being left on the streets. A look ahead at Mayor Bowser's new budget proposal.
Also, peak bloom is here for DC's cherry blossoms. We'll show you all the buzz at the Tidal Basin and why you may want to leave your car at home if you're heading out to see them this week.
Good evening, everyone. It's really good to see you. Daytime highs officially hitting 83 degrees here in the DC metro area. We are going to continue to see those temps fall going into your Friday, and now we're tracking widespread rain. We'll time that out coming up.
Thank you, Janessa, and good evening, and thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 10 on DCW 50. I'm Mark Hall, filling in for Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Tasmeen Mahfouz, and developing now, Fairfax County Police are on the scene of a multi-car crash with a fire truck. And we're told 3 cars were also involved and several people were rushed to the hospital.
Yeah, this all happened this evening on Richmond Highway at Memorial Street, and that's where we find our Daniel Hamburg. And Daniel, what's the latest?
Well, Mark, this happened around 5:19 this evening. The 3 cars have been taken away by a tow truck. The fire truck, as you can imagine, it's been quite a process to get that onto a tow truck right here. Investigators are continuing to figure out just exactly what happened here this evening. They say that multiple people, as you said, were taken to the hospital, one with life-threatening injuries. Richmond Highway is closed at Memorial Street right here. Just up until a few minutes ago, we saw the crash reconstruction team still kind of gathering evidence out here, taking measurements to figure out just how this crash happened. At this point, we don't know exactly who caused this accident, but we do know, again, there were 3 cars that were involved, several people taken to the hospital. One of the police officers says several firefighters were checked out on the scene here. Again, one in life-threatening condition. At this point, that is all the police and fire departments are telling us. We're live in Fairfax County. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Daniel, thank you. And developing tonight in Frederick County, Virginia, 2 school employees at 2 separate schools are being investigated for alleged sexual encounters with students.
Yeah, the first case involves a PE teacher and basketball coach at Frederick County Middle School. 23-year-old Emily Walker is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a 12-year-old boy. Deputies say Walker and the boy exchanged hundreds of texts over the course of several weeks and even kissed on more than one occasion.
So Walker turned herself in voluntarily. She now faces felony charges. A separate investigation led to the arrest of Matthew Geyer. Now, Geyer is a 41-year-old teacher's aide at Sharando High School. He's alleged to have had a sexual encounter with a 16-year-old student. Deputies say the 2 met through a social media app, then met up at the boy's home.
And new tonight, people living in D.C. could soon have fewer options for getting around town as the mayor proposes cutting the number of Circulator routes in half. Reporter Mariel Carbone is live at Franklin Park, where the Woodley to McPherson Square Metro line runs. And Mariel, that is one of the 3 routes on the chopping block.
Yeah, it is, Mark. You know, you can take the bus here from all the way downtown up to the zoo for just $1, but the mayor says ridership is not high enough, and with potential revenue shortfalls post-pandemic, she wants to cut some of the services as a way to save money. George Gaston says he's a frequent rider on DC Circulator buses.
Every other day, in some capacity.
So to hear the number of routes could be cut in half is overwhelming.
I think it's downright reprehensible to do that.
Right now, the Circulator operates these 6 routes, but those could reduce to just 3, with Roslyn to DuPont Circle, Eastern Market to L'Enfant Plaza, and Woodley Park to McPherson Square Metro, all on the chopping block.
Look very closely at our costs for the DC Circulator, the ridership.
Mayor Muriel Bowser is recommending shrinking the program as a cost-cutting measure in the upcoming 2024 budget. District administration says the cost to upkeep or expand the service, which would need to include bus electrification, isn't worth the investment.
Keeping the 6 routes, expanding it, which had been a discussion as well, would have required us to add substantial amounts to our recurring budget. And we also would have had to put over $100 million into the capital budget.
Plus, Donahue says WMATA bus routes are more popular.
Many of the routes have relatively low ridership compared to WMATA bus routes.
Because the routes are limited, I think it served the exact purpose of a cheap plan that's not going all over town.
Gaston believes reducing the routes is a big mistake.
This bus will take people within walking distance of the zoo. So you're going to deprive all these people that come in town, and I mean, like Easter coming, people flock to the zoo like nobody's business.
And at this point, this is just a proposal, but Mark and Thasmin, the administrator did acknowledge that if this were to happen, that there could be some job loss for the drivers, but he does say that there are plenty of open driver positions with WMATA that Circulator bus drivers could potentially apply for. Reporting live downtown tonight, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
Ariel, thank you. So we've been talking about it for weeks now, and it's finally here. Today, the cherry blossoms hit peak bloom at the Tidal Basin in D.C. Our Daniel Hamburg is pulling double duty tonight. He got reaction from people taking in this special experience.
70% of the Yoshino cherry tree blossoms are now open, meaning peak bloom at the Tidal Basin.
It's beautiful, and it's nice to see so many people out when it's peak bloom.
We are thrilled with today. It's mid-70s, 80s degrees. Sun's out. Storms aren't going to come until tomorrow. We could have gotten a better opportunity to enjoy the fabulous cherry blossoms today.
The big puffy petals typically bloom for several days, depending on the weather.
I really love all the shades of pink that you see. The monuments look really beautiful. It's nice to see everybody in their outfits taking pictures. It's really fun.
Some years are hit or miss. This year we definitely hit it.
The perfect day for selfies with Cynthia and Carter Bush.
We were up for an adventure.
Yeah, just decided to come down, and they look very beautiful.
It's a sight to see for those who have never been and those who make it every year.
I can't think of like the proper word to describe it, because it's just such an exciting, amazing thing. I feel so lucky to get to see it.
I thank the Japanese for bringing them up here, and we enjoy it.
At the Tidal Basin, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. I love to see all those smiles and people enjoying the cherry blossoms and the good weather. Man, it was a great day with official highs in the district, 83 degrees. So it was our first 80-degree day and upper 70s in most spots of 2023. And folks, we're at March 23rd. So a very unusual weather pattern that we're currently sitting in. Live look right now across the district. We're sitting under partly cloudy conditions, and it's ahead of a cold front that is really going to change things as we go into your Friday. At the 10 o'clock hour, wow, we have not dropped much this evening. It feels like 77 out there, so this is a summer mild air that's in place, and it's really not going to start to fall off until about 4 a.m. Overnight hours across Lexington Park, the Tidal Basin area, Fredericksburg 77 right now, out towards Hagerstown slightly cooler in the middle 60s. Here's the game changer. It's that large Arctic cold front that started in the Pacific Northwest, Columbus, Indianapolis, Chicago. We're talking about the upper 30s, and some of that cold air is going to allow us to drop nearly 20 to 25 degrees as we go into your Friday. It's well to our west at this point, but it's going to provide us with multiple rounds of rain throughout your Friday and into the start of the weekend. We'll look at that coming up.
Jessa, thank you. New details out of Fairfax County, Virginia, where police have released body-worn camera footage in the deadly shooting of 37-year-old Timothy Johnson last month. Johnson was accused of stealing sunglasses from the Nordstrom store at Tyson's Corner Center.
And after that, 2 officers chased him into the woods, where both shot at him. They say Johnson was unarmed. As our Max Marcillo reports, the chief of police did not offer an opinion on what the newly released video showed.
Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis didn't offer an opinion on what the body-worn camera video footage shows, saying it is still evidence in an ongoing criminal investigation. We're going to show you some of the video from the incident the family's attorney described as an execution. Just a warning, some of it is tough to watch.
Going into the woods, through the woods. Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
This is the last moment, as shown by Sergeant Wesley Shiflett's body camera, before 37-year-old Timothy Johnson was shot and killed. That was the first time Officer Shiflett said stop reaching. The body-worn camera footage, even when slowed down, does not clearly show if Johnson did reach for anything.
I can't speak to that because it's still under active consideration and the criminal investigation.
Johnson was not armed, did not have any weapon on him. All police found were 2 pairs of sunglasses. Even after Johnson was shot, the footage captures someone believed to be Johnson saying, "I'm not reaching for nothing. I have nothing."
There was a failure to live up to the expectations of our agency, and in particular, use of force policies, protocols, and procedures.
The other officer who fired his gun, James Sadler, has not been fired, but is on modified restrictive duty.
Our assessment, that I'm not going to get into, of his actions that night did not necessitate anything at the moment greater than a modified restricted duty assignment.
Without such footage, these responsible would not have been held accountable for their wrongful actions.
A day before the video was made public, Timothy Johnson's mother, Melissa, and the family's lawyer described the shooting as an execution and called on the county's prosecutor to take action.
Justice delayed is justice denied. This officer should not have his freedom at this point.
In a statement, Fairfax County Commonwealth's Attorney Steve Descano said, "It is my responsibility to proceed with a comprehensive and independent investigation of this incident. I expect to make a decision on how best to proceed in the coming weeks." Reporting from Fairfax County, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
And new tonight in Maryland, Prince George's County Police need your help finding this stolen dog. The Boston Terrier was inside a car that was stolen from a gas station, Landover Hills, today. The dog goes by Gianni or John John. Police put out a photo of what the stolen car looks like. It's a 2016 Land Rover with Pennsylvania tags. We have the license plate number on our website, dcnewsnow.com.